What is the best barrel length for an AR pistol?
7.5, 10.5, 11.5, and 12.5.
55 grain.
What are you going to use this thing for? 62 grain.
Welcome back to Class Firearms, guys. Kai over here with Jason.
What's going on, folks?
And in this video, we're going to talk about what is the best barrel length for an AR pistol.
I mean, your mileage may vary, right?
Exactly.
Mission dictates gear. That's kind of how it kind of rolls. So it depends on whatever you're doing.
Right.
It's really subjective, right? You could live out in the Midwest and need every bit of reach out that you need. You could live in, suburban America and say, I don't need that much. You could live in an apartment building and say, this is all that I need. So it really becomes subjective of what your needs, and you need to assess that. So.
Absolutely, because different barrel lengths will definitely mean different velocities, different terminal effects, different accuracies. So all those things are affected. So picking the right barrel length for your AR pistol for your application is going to be crucial, right? If you're one of those, like, let's say, oh, I'm a hunter and I'm going to go and hunt, I don't know, some small game at 500 yards or 800 yards, whatever.
Definitely a 75.
Yeah, think about that.
Psych.
Like, oh, you know what? I found a good deal and whatever. And we want to go ahead and thank Ballistic Advantage for making this video possible. They're not sponsoring this video, but they actually helped us make this video possible. Thanks to Brandon over there. He actually talked to them and they were gracious enough to go ahead and send us a bunch of uppers to make this video and some future videos, depending on the comment section, possible. And the reason for this is because we want to make sure that everything is apples to apple.
Yeah.
Right? Same barrel, same company,
same manufacturer, all that jazz. So
Absolutely.
the only thing that's varying is the length of the barrel and, of course, the gas system. So there is that. I mean, of course, getting into that, which one are you going to choose, man?
I don't know, honestly. In this video, we're going to go ahead and test that out. Actually, we will all find out at the same time. I mean, I know my barrel length. I'm a fan of certain barrel lengths for certain applications. I've got my own reasonings. But, before I spill any of that stuff out, we're going to go to the range. Actually, we're going to test every single one of these things out. In fact, we did do a video about some barrel lengths, all of that stuff in the past. Unfortunately, YouTube deleted that video. So we're going to go ahead and make another one. In fact, let us know in the comment section, would you like us to do a full-blown barrel length performance comparison when it comes to like AR-15s, right?
Yeah.
All the way up to 20-inch.
And when we talk about that, we're talking about getting some really solid numbers using the chrono, seeing what we're getting FPS, energy, all that stuff. So.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And, the shootability too, because they're also caliber's going to be the same, but different barrel lengths is going to give you a different shooting experience as well. Yeah. So what do we have in front of us right now, Jason? What is that?
We got the 7.5 or 7.5 inch upper. Yep. So of course, small, compact, as small as I would like to go with the 5.56 or 2.23, but there are smaller barrels out there. Again, your mileage may vary. I'm not going to tell you what to get or what to buy, but or what to use. But this is as comfortable as I can get.
I mean, think about this. So. If you've never fired next to another person in an indoor, actually, a lot of probably of you guys have experienced this. Like you're in an indoor range and some gal or a guy shooting a 16-inch, just even a regular muzzle break, or not a muzzle break, muzzle device, and you just feel that concussiveness, right? Imagine that by, I don't know, fivefold when you go to a 7.5 inch.
Yeah, it's great.
It's bad.
Said no one ever.
So short barrel is going to give you that. So there's that, but there's obviously it's going to be lighter, more maneuverable. There's upsides and downsides to that. 7.5 inch right there. Then we've got the 10.5 inch. Then we've got the 11.5 inch, and of course 12.5 inch. We didn't want to go anything over 12.5 because then you can kind of do that pin and weld full rifle build at that point, right?
13.9, 13.7, depending on the muzzle device. So.
Exactly. So you can just kind of pin that and weld it to the barrel, and next thing you know, you met that threshold of that 16-inch. So in this case, these are the most common, pretty much AR pistol barrel lengths. Again, thanks to Ballistic Advantage for making this happen possible. I say that we go to the range and shoot these things and test them out, see the accuracy, obviously, shooting experience, and velocity.
Let's do it.
All right, let's do it.
All right, guys, here we are at the range with these uppers from Ballistic Advantage, so shout out to those guys again. What we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and test them out again, 7.5, 10.5, 11.5, and 12.5 with these uppers, actually that way forward. And we're gonna test the FPS, feet per second, with the Garmin chronograph right here we have. So Jason, he's gonna start with the 7.5, and you got your control group right here?
Yep, control group is with the aim point again. This is not for accuracy, this is just FPS and velocity. So I will use this. Great return to zero, shout out to ScaleWorks, of course, using this on every upper and then sending it, and let's see the results that we get.
55 grain.
55 grain.
Yep.
So all 55 grain, SBR lower, this Griffin Mark II. And of course, I guess,
I've had it, bro.
Let's get this bread.
$24. 24.85.
Wait.
$24.27. $24.30. $24.79. $25.03. $25.17. $24.71.
All right.
So what we're looking at with 7.5 inch, definitely about like 2450 to 2500. And right here we can see the average, 2466. That's our average with 7.5 inch and 55 grain. So let's move on to what, 10.5?
Let's do it.
I'm thinking this is gonna be in the maybe 2600 feet per second mark. Just guessing. Have at it.
All right. I'm gonna say average of like 2570. So just me.
2793. 2666. 2750. Jeez. 2796. 2753. 2804. Jeez.
Okay.
2799. 2783. 2738. 2787. Oh my God. Okay, dude. This
Samsonite, way off.
way off. Exactly. 2767 is our average right here. You guys see it? I thought it was gonna be in the 2600s. We had one that was a 2666. I think that was just a low load ammo. It was definitely an ammo thing.
Pause.
But that's it. So, all right. I'm curious how the 11.5 is gonna do. I don't think much more.
It should be average of 27, 28 pushing, so.
It's gonna be in the 2800s.
Yeah,
For
2800.
sure. It should be.
Yeah.
Let's find out.
Here we are with the 11.5. What do we say, Kaya? What do we say?
I'd say 2850 to 2900.
2780.
2850. All right.
Let's do it.
2857.
Woo!
2873. 28781. 2828. 2843. 2816. 2817. 2839. 2802. 2848. And let's see the average on this one. All right, 2830 is the average. Again, this was 11.5. So we basically had like in the upper 2700s, 2730, something like that on the 10.5. And now we get 2830. So we're talking about 100 FPS. That's pretty decent between 10.5 and 11.5. And let's go over to 12.5. And I say that's gonna see between 2850 to 2900. That's what I see.
Yeah. All right, here we are, 12.5. my preferred barrel length for anything short, but there you are. Let's see what this FPS is.
2850 to 2900.
I love it.
2816. 2833. 2854. 2912. 2868. 2941. 2946. 2904. 2870. 2871. So let's see the average on this one. All right, so 2882, guys, right here. All right, so interesting. 2830 was 11.5 inches average. 2882 for 12.5. But incremental increases, which is expected. Yeah. Nothing just went crazy for me. Like everything was very kind of subtle improvement on the speed. But that was 55 grain, and as you can tell, I'm going with a green tip right here, 62 grain. And I want to fire the 62 grain, see what kind of a difference do we get on each barrel length, see if it's anything drastic. All right, guys, so we shot these things with 55 grain and also 62 grain.
Very common ammo you can pick up anywhere. So.
Exactly, steel tip right here. Military use this all the time. And we wanted to kind of see the difference, like 55 grain speed and also 62 grain, like the bullets get heavier. See if the bullets do anything crazy. And we found out some numbers for you guys. So let's talk about the 7.5 inch over here. With 55 grain, the average FPS was 2466. With the 62 grain, the average FPS was 2336.
Obviously, heavier projectile, slowing down a little bit.
Yep,
so
just a little bit. Here's a crazy thing though. We jumped up to 10.5 inch. So we're talking about 3 inches difference, right? 2767 average FPS with 55 grain and 2584 with 62 grain. So we're talking about, like, think about this, 2466 to 2767 with 55 grain. That's 300 FPS. Yeah. Like significant jump from that. So every inch of barrel length, you're talking about 100 FPS.
Every inch counts.
Absolutely. So even a millimeter, right? From 9mm to 10mm, it's a big difference.
Let's get into the 11 inch.
Yeah. So 11.5 inch, 55 grain average FPS, 2830. 62 grain average FPS is 2671. And then moving on to 12.5 inch, 2882 FPS with the 55.
Screaming.
And exactly 2746 with the 62. So we're looking at the, let's talk about the differences, right? With 55 grain, from 7.5 to 10.5, which I just talked about, 300 FPS. 11.5 to 10.5 to 11.5, we're talking about 63 FPS. Nothing crazy, just 63, right? That's 55 grain. And 11.5 to 12.5, 52 FPS. So nothing crazy. But let's go over to 62 grain, see, maybe that's 55 grain, maybe that's crazy,
so
right?
If you break it down, realistically, if I do this math right, it's about 400 between 7 and here.
Exactly.
Of FPS grand overall total.
Exactly.
So take that
300 of that lies when it goes from 7.5 inches to 10.5.
10.5. That's the crazy part, right? Between 10.5, 11.5, 12.5, we don't see amazing, like all that crazy differences. Right. But 7.5 to 10.5, we see that. We see that with 62 grain as well. So 7.5 to 10.5, we're talking about 248 FPS with 62 grain. Significant. Okay. From 10.5 to 11.5, we've got 87.
Okay.
11.5 to 12.5, we got 75 with 62 grain, obviously. So it doesn't matter what grain weight you're using. The differences between 10.5, 11.5, 12.5 seems to be about averaging the same.
Right.
But 7.5 to 10.5, significant. So what does that tell you guys?
Get a 12.5.
Or 7.5, depending on your application of what are you using this thing for. This is what this video is all about for you guys. So you guys see, this whole experiment was Extremely, in my opinion, very scientific.
Yeah.
Why? Because we got factory 55 grain, factory 62 grain.
Everything's the same, ballistic advantage, all controlled with that. So you've got all that stuff in house. And again, it's just barrel length.
It's just barrel lengths, ammo, uppers, everything is the same. We obviously use an SPR lower, which doesn't really affect. So this just tells you, what are you going to use this thing for? You know, if you're one of those people like you actually want it for close quarter application, you want to throw a can on that thing to kind of decrease the concussiveness of that thing. Well, you know what? 7.5 inch will do just fine. You're talking about 2400 FPS. That'll get the job done. For the most part, just fine, right? You'll still have that terminal effect, go through intermediate barriers and still have decent terminal effect for as long as your target, your intended target is pretty close by, all right? But if you're actually looking at one of those longer distances, you know, like the FPI uses the 11.5 inch Colt M4, right? And they use 62 grain Federal, or 64 now, and they're talking about, you know, their effective range of like with their 12 to 18 inch penetration is about 200, almost 200 yards, and they get that. So honestly, if you have 11.5 inch or 12.5 inch, you're talking about go up to 500 yards, you're gonna be still good to go. But if you're talking about close quarter, you know, 7.5 inch is not bad, or that's it.
I feel like there's like a part 2 in this. We got the speed down.
Yeah, what do you
Seems
think,
like
Ryan?
we need to do the accuracy.
Yeah, I think we need to do more barrel lengths.
I think we should.
I gotta say, when I did this video in the past, that's unfortunately taken down off YouTube. Thanks, YouTube. These differentials were a lot higher, but the key difference is they were all from different barrel manufacturers.
See, that's a big deal.
When we have the same barrel manufacturer, now we're getting into the minutia, right? Which is just barrel length change and that raw. Like there's no other factors going into it. And we shot 10 rounds per each upper, so we got a consistent average. So I mean, I think this is good data. Seriously.
It's very good
For
data.
the record, that's the first 10 rounds ever fired through any of these uppers.
Yeah,
Just to
they're
make
brand
that
new.
clear.
They're brand new. And granted, this wasn't an accuracy video, so if you guys want us to do that, let us know in the comment section. Maybe we'll just do just accuracy video for you guys. Same ammo, same everything. See what kind of a differences we get. But at this point, we just wanted to show you the speed, accuracy, velocity of these things.
For me, I'm going with a 10-3. That's my final
Well, that's
conclusion.
mine.
Yeah.
I've already. You can't.
I might put together my own, you know?
Oh, I see.
All right, well, that's
So
cool.
yeah, it could be.
I'm sticking with my original 12.5.
Yeah.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, 7.5 for the short guy.
It's fine.
Well, guys, thanks to Ballistic Advantage for providing all these things to us. We do have other uppers from those guys, and I think we should just go up to the rifle length, maybe 16, 18 inch.
We got to go 20, at least 20 as a max. Yeah.
3,300 feet per second.
Did you hear that?
That's it.
I agree.
Anyways, guys, let us know your thoughts in the comment section. With that being said, I think I want to go ahead and get ready for that other video, so stay tuned for that one, and check out
CF contest.
CF contest. Okay, it's
Google
a good
it.
thing. Good things happen there. Perhaps we'll just feature some stuff from Ballistic Advantage and some other cool stuff there. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section. Jason, I hate you.
Hold on.
Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate your business.
God bless.